Msoni demands Hichilema's retirement. Is Zambia being divided? Explosive political showdown. A bold and controversial call has been made. Veteran political commentator Msoni is urging Zambians to retire President Hakainde Hichilema, accusing him of dividing the nation. Is this a genuine warning about national unity, or just another political narrative in a heated season? Tonight, we break it down. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. What a week it's been across southern Africa, but today, we turn our attention to Zambia, where the political temperature has reached a boiling point. Our lead story, a stunning call for presidential retirement that has sent shockwaves through the nation. Imagine this. You wake up one morning to find that a former cabinet minister, someone who once sat at the table of power, who witnessed the inner workings of State House firsthand, has taken to the national stage with a message so bold, so provocative, that it threatens to redefine the political landscape. Picture the tension in the air as accusations fly like arrows, each one aimed directly at the heart of the presidency itself. What drives a politician to publicly demand that a sitting president step down? What secrets lie behind closed doors that would compel such a dramatic declaration? Is this the voice of a patriot concerned for national unity, or the bitter outcry of a political rival nursing old wounds? And when charges of division, tribalism, and failed leadership are leveled against the highest office in the land, what does it say about the state of Zambian democracy? Can a nation survive when its leaders stand accused of tearing apart the very fabric that binds its people together? What happens when the promise of prosperity gives way to whispers of favoritism and exclusion? And most critically, when a former insider breaks ranks and speaks out, are we witnessing an act of courage, or the opening salvo in a new political war? Factual foundation, background and timeline. The revelation came to light during a highly charged press conference that captured national attention this past week. Emmanuel J.J. Msoni, the former Minister of Local Government and Rural Development under President Hakainde Hichilema's United Party for National Development government, stepped before cameras and journalists with a message that would dominate headlines across Zambia. Msoni, who had once been a trusted member of the UPND inner circle, made the unprecedented call for President Hichilema, popularly known as HH, to retire from active politics. The press conference took place in Lusaka, at a venue packed with media representatives, political observers, and curious citizens. Msoni's appearance came against the backdrop of growing public discourse about governance, tribal representation, and the direction of Zambian politics under the UPND administration. The sequence of events leading to this moment had been building for months. Msoni had gradually distanced himself from the UPND leadership, first through subtle criticisms, then through increasingly pointed commentary on social media and in private political circles. His removal from cabinet earlier had been attributed to what government sources described as administrative restructuring, but insiders suggested deeper rifts had formed. Then came the bombshell. On this particular afternoon, Msoni formally announced his position. President Hichilema should step aside because, in Msoni's assessment, the president has divided Zambia along tribal and regional lines, favoring certain ethnic groups while marginalizing others. The accusations were specific and damning claims of nepotism, tribalism and appointments, and a failure to deliver on the promises that swept the UPND into power in 2021. The timing was significant. This statement came as Zambia grapples with economic challenges, currency depreciation, and public frustration over the cost of living. Msoni's words tapped into a growing undercurrent of dissatisfaction, giving voice to criticisms that had previously been whispered in markets and townships but rarely articulated so forcefully by someone from within the ruling establishment. Direct evidence, quotes and testimony. Standing at the podium, Emmanuel J.J. Msoni did not mince words. His statement was delivered with the conviction of someone who believed he was speaking an uncomfortable truth. I am calling on President Hakainde Hichilema to retire from active politics, Msoni declared, his voice steady but edged with emotion. He has divided this nation. He has divided Zambia in a way we have not seen in recent memory. When pressed by journalists about the specific nature of these divisions, Msoni elaborated. Look at the appointments. Look at who is sitting in positions of influence and power. Look at the regions that are benefiting from development projects and those that are being left behind. This is not about one tribe or another, this is about fairness, about equity, about the Zambia we were promised. One reporter asked, "Mr. Msoni, you were part of this government. Why speak out now?" Msoni paused, then responded, "That's exactly why I must speak. I was there. I saw how decisions were made. I saw the patterns emerging. And I told myself, when does silence become complicity? I cannot sit back and watch this country be torn apart while I say nothing." Another journalist interjected, "Are you suggesting the president is deliberately practicing tribalism?" "I'm saying," Msoni answered carefully, "that whether deliberate or not, the effect is the same. People feel excluded. Communities feel marginalized. And when citizens begin to identify government by ethnic lines rather than national interest, that is division. That is dangerous." He continued, his tone growing more impassioned, "We fought for this democracy together. We campaigned for change together. But change was supposed to mean change for every Zambian, not change for some Zambians while others wait at the margins." When asked what response he expected from State House, Msoni said, "I expect denial. I expect attacks on my character. That's what happens when you speak truth to power. But I also hope, I truly hope, that somewhere in those corridors of power, someone will pause and ask themselves, is there truth in this? Are we living up to the ideals we promised?" The press conference concluded with Msoni issuing a direct appeal, "Mr. President, you have served. You have had your moment. But if you cannot unite this country, if you cannot rise above tribal considerations, then step aside. Let someone else try. Zambia is bigger than any one man." Deeper analysis, implications and reactions. Msoni's explosive allegations have triggered a cascade of reactions across Zambia's political spectrum, each response revealing deeper fault lines in the national conversation. From the ruling UPND, the response was swift and dismissive. Government spokesperson Cornelius Mwitwa addressed the media shortly after Msoni's press conference, characterizing the former minister's statements as baseless, unfounded, and motivated by personal grievances rather than national interest. Mwitwa pointed to what he described as the government's track record of inclusive development, citing infrastructure projects across all 10 provinces and a cabinet that reflects regional diversity. "This administration has done more for national unity than any in recent memory," Mwitwa insisted. These allegations are not supported by facts, they are supported by bitterness. Opposition parties, meanwhile, seized upon Msoni's remarks as vindication of criticisms they have been leveling for months. The Patriotic Front, still reeling from its 2021 electoral defeat, issued a statement expressing concern about the tribalism and regionalism that has characterized the UPND government. Socialist Party leader Fred Membe went further, calling for a national dialogue on ethnic representation and governance. Political analysts have offered more nuanced perspectives. Dr. Sishiwa, a prominent political commentator, noted that Msoni's allegations touch on a historically sensitive issue in Zambian politics. Zambia has always prided itself on being a peaceful nation that avoided the ethnic conflicts that plagued some of our neighbors, Dr. Sishiwa observed. But that doesn't mean tribal considerations don't exist beneath the surface. The question is whether they are being exploited or exacerbated by current leadership. Constitutional lawyer John Sangwa raised procedural concerns. While Mr. Msoni has every right to express his views, the pathway to removing a sitting president in Zambia is through the ballot box or, in extreme cases, impeachment proceedings. Political rhetoric alone won't change the constitutional reality. On social media and in public forums, Zambians are deeply divided. Some hail Msoni as a courageous whistleblower, others condemn him as a disgruntled former official seeking relevance. The hashtag #RetireHH has trended alongside #StandWithHH, illustrating the polarization Msoni's statement has unleashed. Perhaps most troubling are the unanswered questions. If Msoni's claims have merit, what specific evidence can be presented? Are there patterns in government appointments, resource allocation, or policy decisions that demonstrate systematic favoritism? And if these claims are false, why would a former insider risk his political reputation with such inflammatory accusations? The broader implications extend beyond individual personalities. Zambia faces genuine economic challenges, debt restructuring, inflation, unemployment. Do these political controversies distract from substantive policy debates? Or do they reveal governance failures that must be addressed for any economic recovery to take hold? And there you have it, viewers, a political storm brewing in Zambia, with accusations that strike at the very heart of national identity and leadership. Thank you so much for watching this edition of InspirAfrica Official. This is the kind of story that demands our attention, that requires us to think critically about the leaders we choose and the standards we hold them to. What do you think? Is Emmanuel Msoni speaking truth to power, or is this political theater? Do President Hichilema's policies reflect inclusive governance, or is there merit to the claims of division? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from you, especially our Zambian viewers who are living this reality every day. We'll continue to follow this developing story and bring you updates as they emerge. Because at InspirAfrica Official, we believe that informed citizens build stronger nations, and democracy thrives when we're willing to ask difficult questions. I'm Nakash, and I'll be back tomorrow with more news, more analysis, and more conversations that matter. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay inspired.